Before you spend that dime, take a closer look. Some Roosevelt dimes from 1975, 1980, and 1990 have rare errors like double dies and off-center strikes that can sell for hundreds, even thousands of dollars. Check your change today. Your dime might be worth a fortune. The 1975 US 1 dime coin error is one of those fascinating treasures. A coin meant for ordinary circulation, used for buying a piece of gum or paying part of a bus fare. But under the right circumstances, with the right error, this dime becomes something far greater. We're talking about a value that can skyrocket anywhere from $58,000 to as high as $134,200. That's right, what was supposed to be a dime, one of the most overlooked coins in your pocket, could turn into a life-changing discovery. To truly appreciate why the 1975 dime is such an extraordinary coin, we first need to look at the history and context behind it. The dime design had already been around for decades. Introduced in 1946, the Roosevelt dime honored President Franklin D. Roosevelt, who had passed away in 1945. His legacy, tied closely to his leadership during World War II and his advocacy for the March of Dimes campaign to fight polio, made the dime the perfect coin to carry his image. By 1975, the design had become iconic. On the obverse, Roosevelt's left-facing profile is centered, with the word liberty clearly displayed along the edge, the motto "In God We Trust" positioned near his chin, and the date sitting proudly near the bottom. On the reverse, the symbolic torch of liberty, flanked by an olive branch and an oak branch, remained unchanged. A simple yet powerful design representing peace and strength. What makes the 1975 dime such a treasure for collectors is not its design but rather the minting errors associated with that year. Unlike other coins that are rare simply because of low mintage numbers, the 1975 dime became famous because of a rare and spectacular mistake. The most well-known of these is the 1975 proof Roosevelt dime struck without an S mint mark. Proof coins are carefully struck at the San Francisco Mint, and by definition, they should carry the S mark. Yet somehow, in 1975, a few proof dimes were struck without that mint mark and released. Imagine being a collector expecting to see a tiny S beneath Roosevelt's neck, only to find nothing there. That small omission changed everything. The missing mint mark proof dime is so rare that only a handful are confirmed to exist. Most estimates place the number at just 2 or 3 examples, making it one of the most valuable modern American coins. In pristine condition, these coins have fetched jaw-dropping prices at auction, solidifying their place in numismatic history. While regular 1975 dimes are plentiful and worth only face value, these era coins can soar into the $58,000 to $134,200 range, depending on their condition and the level of demand at the time. But the missing S is not the only type of error linked to 1975 dimes. Other error varieties also catch the eyes of collectors. Off-center strikes are among the most sought after. These occur when the coin blank is not properly aligned within the striking press, resulting in a coin where part of the design is missing and part of the blank planchet remains exposed. In some cases, Roosevelt's profile is shifted so dramatically that the coin takes on an abstract, almost artistic appearance. The greater the off-center error, especially when the date remains visible, the more valuable the coin becomes. Some of these off-center 1975 dimes, when well preserved, have been appraised in ranges approaching the tens of thousands, making them highly desirable to error specialists. Double die errors are another fascinating aspect of this coin. These occur when the coin's design is accidentally impressed twice, slightly offset, during the hubbing process. Collectors can sometimes see doubling in the word liberty, the motto "In God We Trust," or even in Roosevelt's facial features. The rarity of dramatic double dies, combined with their easy visibility to the naked eye, makes them especially exciting. While not as famous as the missing mint mark, a well-preserved double die from 1975 could fetch remarkable sums, again falling within that enticing range between $58,000 and $134,200 at the top levels. There are also broad strike errors, where the collar that normally holds the coin in place during striking malfunctions, allowing the dime to spread out slightly larger than normal. These coins look unusual, like stretched or distorted versions of the regular dime. Collectors love these because they are obvious mint mistakes, and when coupled with the historical significance of the 1975 issue, they can reach impressive prices. Condition plays a critical role in determining the value of these coins. Circulated coins, even with errors, are rarely worth as much as those preserved in mint state. The highest auction prices are achieved by coins that have survived untouched, with full luster and no signs of wear. A proof coin missing its S mint mark in flawless condition can easily approach that $134,200 mark, while one with slight imperfections might still command $58,000 or more. Collectors are not just buying a piece of metal. They are buying perfection, rarity, and history all at once. What's truly fascinating about coins like the 1975 dime is how they are discovered. Some come directly from proof sets purchased decades ago and kept sealed until today. Others might surface in unexpected places, like coin shops or inherited collections, where the rarity was overlooked for years. Imagine the thrill of being the person who spots the missing mint mark or recognizes a doubling error that others dismissed. That rush of discovery is part of what makes coin collecting such an addictive and rewarding hobby. There's also a larger story behind these errors. They remind us that even with the precision and technology of the US Mint, mistakes happen. And when they do, those mistakes sometimes slip into the hands of the public, waiting to be found. For most people, a dime is just a dime. But for a few lucky individuals, it becomes a treasure worth tens of thousands, or even over $100,000. The idea that such wealth could be hiding in plain sight within everyday change is what keeps collectors constantly checking their coins. The 1975 dime stands as a symbol of how something ordinary can become extraordinary. It is not the size of the coin that determines its impact, but its story, its rarity, and the passion of those who seek it. A simple missing mint mark, a striking misalignment, or a double design is enough to change a coin's destiny. Instead of being forgotten in a jar of spare change, it rises to fame in auction houses, commanding values that reach up to $134,200. And this is where engagement with the story truly peaks, because it is not just about collectors or history buffs. This story touches everyone who has ever held change in their pocket. Anyone could stumble upon one of these coins, and that possibility is what makes it so exciting. When you look at a dime from 1975, you're not just looking at a coin. You might be holding a hidden fortune. So the next time you receive change at the grocery store or dig through an old coin jar, pay attention to that little dime. Look closely. Does it seem off-center? Does it have unusual doubling? And if it's a proof coin, is there a missing S mint mark? Because if it does, you could be looking at a piece of history worth more than $58,000. And if you're truly lucky, maybe even the top end of $134,200. That is the magic of numismatics. Tiny details, often overlooked, can transform the ordinary into the extraordinary. The 1975 US 1 dime error coin is proof of that. Proof that even the smallest coin in your pocket can carry the weight of a remarkable story and the power to change someone's life. The dime has always been one of the smallest and most underestimated coins in America. It's light, it's small, and it slips easily through your fingers without you even noticing. Most people don't give it a second thought when they receive it as change or toss it into a jar on their kitchen counter. But the truth is that some of these little coins carry a story so rare and extraordinary that they could change your life in an instant. The 1980 US dime with specific minting errors is one of those coins, and while it looks almost identical to the billions of others minted that year, its hidden details can make it worth a staggering fortune. We're not just talking about a few $100s or even a few thousand. We're talking about a coin that has sold for between $50,000 and $120,500, depending on the type of error and the condition. Just imagine something so small, often ignored, could carry a value bigger than the price of a luxury car or even the down payment on a dream home. The dime in 1980 carried the design most Americans know by heart: Franklin D. Roosevelt on the front, the dignified profile of a president who guided the nation through some of its darkest years. On the back, a torch symbolizing liberty, flanked by olive and oak branches representing peace and strength. By 1980, this design had been in circulation for decades. People used it daily without thinking twice, but hidden among the countless dimes produced at the US Mint that year were a handful of mistakes. Tiny missteps in the coin-making process that turned ordinary 10-cent pieces into treasures. Error coins happen when something goes wrong in the precise minting process. And while errors might sound like accidents that ruin coins, in the world of collectors, They're exactly the opposite. They're the crown jewels, the anomalies that turn common coins into rarities. The 1,980 dimes with errors can include things like double die strikes, where the lettering or design looks doubled, giving the coin a shadowy effect. Other errors involve off-center strikes, where the design wasn't properly aligned with the blank coin, leaving a strange blank crescent and pushing part of the design out of place. Then there are wrong planchet strikes, which are even rarer. That's when a dime was accidentally struck on metal meant for another coin, like a penny or even a foreign coin. Imagine the shock of holding a dime-sized coin that's copper red instead of the usual silvery tone. That's the kind of mistake that collectors chase, and that's what drives prices to the range of $50,000 to $120,500. Why are these error coins so valuable? The answer is simple: rarity. In 1980, millions upon millions of dimes rolled off the presses at the mint. The machinery was designed for precision, and most of the coins came out exactly as intended. But every once in a while, something went wrong. A misalignment, a cracked die, a blank fed into the wrong press. Most of the time, these mistakes were caught and destroyed. But once in a while, one slipped through. Just a handful out of millions made it into circulation. That's what makes them so incredibly rare and so incredibly valuable to collectors. Think about it. You might have held one of these in your hand and not even noticed. You might have used one at a vending machine, fed one into a parking meter, or tossed one into a tip jar without realizing that you just let go of something worth $50,000 to $120,500. That's the kind of possibility that gets collectors excited, the idea that life-changing value could be hiding in plain sight, disguised as an ordinary coin. Stories of people discovering error coins years later add to the thrill. Imagine someone who has a jar of coins sitting forgotten in their closet. One day, they decide to sort through them, and among the dimes, they notice one looks strange. Maybe the torch on the reverse looks doubled. Maybe Roosevelt's profile seems slightly blurred. Maybe part of the design is missing altogether. They take a closer look, send it off to a professional grading service, and then the reality sinks in. They're holding a coin valued between $50,000 and $120,500. What started as a simple dime becomes a financial windfall, all because they paid attention. Collectors understand this thrill better than anyone. To them, every coin is a mystery waiting to be solved, a puzzle that might reveal hidden treasure. The 1980 dime is particularly fascinating because it represents a time in U.S. history when the mint was modernizing its processes, moving toward more efficiency and consistency. Yet even in this era of supposed perfection, errors happened. And those errors are what make certain 1980 dimes worth more than most people would ever dream. Let's dive into the psychology of it for a moment. Why do collectors value error coins so much? It's because they're unique. Every error tells a story. A double die strike whispers about a moment when the die shifted ever so slightly before striking again. An off-center strike reveals the instant when a blank wasn't seated correctly. A wrong planchet dime captures the incredible rarity of two different coin supplies colliding in the chaos of the mint. These are not just mistakes. They're one-of-a-kind fingerprints of history. And collectors, by nature, crave uniqueness. Condition plays another huge role in value. If you found a 1980 error dime that had been circulating for years, with scratches and wear, it might still be worth tens of thousands. But if you found one that was never used, crisp and shining just as it left the mint, its value could climb into six figures, pushing toward that $120,500 mark. That's why collectors often send coins to grading agencies, where professionals examine every detail under magnification and assign grades that can make or break the coin's final auction price. Now picture the moment an auctioneer holds up a 1980 error dime for sale. The room is full of collectors, each one hungry to add this rarity to their collection. The bidding starts and quickly it rises. 50,000, 60,000, 70,000, the numbers keep climbing. Finally, after intense competition, the hammer drops. The coin sells for well over $100,000. That's not a fantasy. It's a reality that is played out in auction houses across the country, proving just how much demand exists for these small but mighty coins. The 1980 dime error story is not just about money. It's also about awareness. It teaches us that the smallest things can carry incredible value if we take the time to notice them. How many of us handle coins every day without really looking at them? How many of us might already have a rare dime sitting in a jar at home, waiting to be discovered? The truth is, the next great discovery could be in your pocket right now. That's the beauty of coin collecting. It turns the ordinary into the extraordinary. It transforms loose change into hidden treasure. It makes us stop and look more closely at the world around us. And in the case of the 1980 US dime with its rare errors, it reminds us that even the tiniest and most overlooked items can carry stories worth tens of thousands, or even over $100,000. So the next time you pick up a dime, especially one from 1980, don't ignore it. Hold it up to the light. Check the date, check the lettering, check the alignment of the design. Does anything look unusual? Could there be a doubling, a shift, or even a completely different metal than expected? Because if there is, you might be holding one of the rarest and most valuable dimes in circulation. A coin worth anywhere from $50,000 to $120,500. And isn't that an incredible thought? That something as simple as a dime, something most of us forget about or dismiss as small change, could actually be the key to a hidden fortune. That's the story of the 1980 dime error. It's not just a coin. It's a lesson in paying attention, a reminder of the value hidden in the details, and, for the lucky few who discover one, a life-changing treasure tucked inside the smallest of coins. Imagine holding a small silver-colored coin in your hand, a coin that you've probably used countless times at vending machines, parking meters, or even just to make exact change at the grocery store. It's only worth 10 cents, right? Just a dime, the smallest unit of US coinage that most people don't even bother picking up if they see it on the ground. But what if I told you that a 1990 US dime with a rare mint error could be worth not 10 cents, not $10, but tens of thousands of dollars? What if that ordinary-looking dime in your hand was hiding a secret that could make you anywhere from $43,000 to a jaw-dropping $114,000 richer? That's the incredible reality of the 1990 Roosevelt dime error, one of the most fascinating stories in the world of coin collecting. To appreciate the significance of the 1990 dime error, we first need to take a step back and look at the coin itself. The Roosevelt dime has been in circulation since 1946, created as a tribute to President Franklin D. Roosevelt, who had passed away the year before. Roosevelt was remembered not only for leading the United States through the Great Depression and World War II, but also for his tireless efforts to support the March of Dimes Foundation to combat polio. His image on the dime is a permanent reminder of that legacy, and over the decades, billions of these coins have passed through American hands. Yet among those billions, some rare mistakes slipped through the minting process, turning ordinary dimes into priceless treasures. The year 1990 was no exception. Although the mint's processes were highly refined by this time, errors still found their way into circulation. When we talk about error coins, we're talking about coins that were struck incorrectly during the minting process. That might mean an off-center strike, where part of the design is missing, a double die, where details of the design appear doubled, or die cracks and cuts, which create raised marks or missing areas of metal on the coin. These errors, while technically mistakes, become gold mines for collectors because of their rarity and uniqueness. The 1990 Roosevelt dime error stands out because examples of this coin with dramatic misstrikes or doubling have fetched eye-watering sums at auctions. Depending on the type and severity of the error, and of course the condition of the coin itself, these dimes have been valued anywhere from $43,000 on the lower end to an astounding $114,000 for pristine, top-grade examples. It's almost impossible to wrap your head around the idea that a coin worth 10 cents could fetch more than the price of a luxury car or even a down payment on a house. And yet, that's the magic of coin collecting. Part of what makes this particular dime so desirable is the era it comes from. By 1990, the US Mint was already using advanced technology compared to earlier decades, so the number of significant mint errors had decreased dramatically. This means that any error from this year is rarer than those from earlier times, instantly making it more valuable. Collectors know this, and that drives the demand and, as a result, the price through the roof. Imagine the excitement of someone stumbling upon one of these coins. It might happen when they're rolling up change, maybe while searching through a piggy bank, or even while buying a soda from a vending machine. To the untrained eye, the coin might look a little odd. Maybe the lettering seems doubled, maybe Roosevelt's portrait looks shifted, or perhaps the edges aren't perfectly aligned. But to a coin collector or someone who knows what they're looking at, that little oddity signals the possibility of a fortune. Suddenly, this dime that most people wouldn't even bend down to pick up on the street transforms into a treasure worth tens of thousands of dollars. But why do collectors pay so much for coins like this? The answer lies in a combination of rarity, history, and beauty. First, rarity. The fewer examples of a particular era coin that exist, the more valuable it becomes. Second, history. Each era tells a unique story about the minting process and the time in which it occurred, offering a glimpse into the inner workings of the U.S. Mint. And third, beauty. While errors are technically flaws, many collectors see them as unique works of art. The off-center strikes, the dramatic doubling, the raised cracks across the coin's surface. These are seen as striking and fascinating variations that set the coin apart from the billions of ordinary dimes that look identical. The price range of $43,000 to $114,000 is based on real-world demand, fueled by collectors who want to own a piece of this rarity. Auction houses have seen these coins ignite fierce bidding wars, with passionate collectors refusing to back down until they secure the prize. And when such coins hit the market, they don't just attract seasoned collectors. They also spark interest among newcomers who suddenly realize that treasures could be hiding in their own pockets or coin jars. Grading also plays a huge role in determining value. Professional grading services evaluate these coins for both the error itself and the overall condition. A coin with an incredible, obvious error that's also in near-perfect condition will easily reach the higher end of that value range, sometimes even exceeding it if bidding gets competitive. Meanwhile, a coin with a less dramatic error or one that's been heavily circulated might still bring in tens of thousands, but it won't hit that six-figure mark. Still, considering we're talking about a dime that originally cost just 10 cents, even the lower end of $43,000 is an extraordinary return point. One of the most compelling parts of the story is how it connects the everyday with the extraordinary. The 1990 Roosevelt Dime error isn't a rare gold coin or a specially minted commemorative piece. It's just a dime, something we see and use every day. And yet, in its flawed form, it becomes a piece of history, a work of art, and a financial windfall all at once. That's what makes error coins so exciting for collectors and casual enthusiasts alike. They remind us that treasures can hide in plain sight, waiting to be discovered by those who take the time to look a little closer. It's also a reminder of the human element behind coin production. Despite all the technology, all the precision, and all the quality control measures at the mint, mistakes still happen. And when they do, those mistakes tell a story. They remind us that even in a world of machines and mass production, perfection isn't guaranteed. Instead, it's those rare imperfections that become the most valuable of all. So the next time you find yourself with a handful of change, take a moment to look at it more closely. Check the dimes. Look for oddities in the design, doubling in the letters, off-center strikes, or unusual markings. You never know, one of those dimes could be a 1990 Roosevelt Dime error, and it could be worth anywhere from $43,000 to $114,000. That's the kind of hidden fortune that makes coin collecting such a thrilling and rewarding pursuit. And just think, if you did stumble upon one, how would it change your life? Would you hold onto it as a piece of history, or would you sell it to secure that once-in-a-lifetime payday? Either way, the discovery would be unforgettable. That's the power of the 1990 dime error. It transforms an object as ordinary as pocket change into a symbol of luck, history, and extraordinary value.